Very good morning, children. So yesterday we have studied about the different connective tissues which are present in our body, but now today we are going to study about the fluid connective tissue of the body. So now if you take a needle and prick your finger, something comes out. What is that? Yes, it is blood. So this blood is basically called as the fluid connective tissue of the body. It is a kind of red stream, isn't it? Now this is the fluid connective tissue of the body, and there are several cells in this blood, and all these cells they are not intact with each other. They are not like they are arranged closely with each other. In the other cells and tissues and all, we have seen that the cells are close to each other, they are connected to each other, but whereas here you cannot see those kind of connections. They move completely freely in the blood. Okay, now where this blood flows, usually the blood will flow in a special part which is called as the blood vessels. Now let me draw a blood vessel here. Okay, now this is the blood vessel, right? And now there are several cells here. Now there are several cells which will be completely away from the other. So they move very freely in this particular blood. Okay, apart from these cells, all these cells, they move in a liquid form. Okay, they move in a liquid form, some liquid kind of watery kind of substance which is called as the plasma. This plasma is the extracellular fluid because it is present out of these cells. So what are the things which are present outside the cell is called as the extracellular spaces. So this extracellular fluid which you are going to see here is called as the plasma. And one more thing here is there are no fibers in the blood. You cannot see any kind of fibers in the blood. In the tendon, in the ligaments and all, like we were studying about the different kinds of fibers which are present to join one part with the other, one tissue with the other, but whereas here you cannot see any kind of fibers. That's the reason why they completely move very freely in the liquid portion of the blood. So all these cells will have different functions. You can see here different cells are there, different colored cells are there, and each and every cell will have a different function. And see, when you go to a doctor, if you are sick, and if you just want to know whether you are sick or if you want to know whether you are completely well, that completely depends upon your blood. They will take your blood samples and they will test and they will tell you whether you are sick or you are completely well. That is how blood is very, very useful to us. And this blood is basically, it is not the blood which only flows in the blood vessels like this. Okay, it will be pumped to each and every tissue of our body. So these blood vessels are connected to a special organ which is called as heart. The heart is the special pumping organ in our body which lies in between the two lungs, okay, in the center, okay, just slightly tilted towards the left side. And this heart will pump the blood to different parts of the body. In 24 hours, nearly 36,000 liters of blood is sent to around 20,000 kilometers. That is only in the span of 24 hours. You can assume the work which is done by our heart. Now, why this blood will go to different parts of our body? Because it contains a lot of nutrients. It contains the oxygen, and that should be sent to different cells of our body, different tissues of our body. That is why the blood is a kind of the heart is a kind of transport system, because it keeps on transporting all the nutrients. What are the food which you eat, when it get digested and goes into your blood, and that will be again sent to different parts of the body, especially to the different cells and different tissues in your body. The same way, when you take the oxygen, even that oxygen also goes to different parts of the body, different tissues and cells of the body. Now, if you observe your blood, that is basically in which color? Red in color. But whereas if you observe the blood of the cockroach, it is white in color. And if you observe the blood of the snail, you know which color it is? Yeah, it is blue in color. So It is really a wonderful thing that even the blood is also in different kinds of colors. And if you come to a normal human being, the amount of blood which is present in the body is around 5 liters. It is around 5 liters. And the chief component of the blood is
Red blood cells are around 45% in the blood, and plasma, the liquid portion, is around 55%, and platelets and white blood cells are around 1% each. You know,
So if you take the blood, if you observe the blood, if you have a blood complete blood test report, and all of your parents or your brothers or sisters, if you observe in them, everything will be in a detail over there. So if you observe the blood, if you test the blood, what are things which are present in that? There is glucose, there is amino acids, there are proteins, there are vitamins, hormones, okay, and also some excretory products like urea, uric acid, okay, and whatnot. Several things are present in the blood. Some of them are excretory, some of them are required for your body, even oxygen and carbon dioxide, okay, and the things which you eat is carbohydrates, proteins and fats, which are digested into glucose, amino acids and fatty acids. All these three are also found in the blood, and all the excretory products which need to be excreted through the urine, okay, like excess amount of water, excess amount of urea, uric acid, and even the liver will secrete some of the waste materials outside. Even that also will be present in the blood. So all this will be excreted out. So this is how the blood's introduction goes on. So now you understood that blood is a very, very important component of the body, okay, and moreover that there are cells in the blood and they are completely free, and they are not stick to one particular place, they move freely, isn't it? And second thing is that we have seen that there is a liquid portion which is called as plasma, and now in the plasma there are different kinds of cells which will be floating, okay. So now we'll go ahead with the different cells of the blood, so children, now coming to the blood cells, there are 3 different kinds of blood cells you can see in the blood. And all these cells, the first one is RBC. First one is called as the RBC. These RBC are also called as the erythrocytes. They are called as erythrocytes. RBC are also called as red blood cells, and they are also called as erythrocytes. As the name suggests, these are the red colored, okay, they are red in color. Now second one is the white blood cells. They are called as white blood cells because they doesn't have any color, so white actually is a colorless. So we say white blood cells are colorless. So second one is white blood cells. They are also called as leukocytes. And third one is blood platelets. So these are the 3 different kinds of cells which are basically present in the blood. So these are the three different blood cells. One is red blood cells, second one is white blood cells, and third one is blood platelets. So first of all, we will study the blood platelets. So as the name suggests, children, RBC, that is red blood cells, are also called as erythrocytes, and they are red in color. Now the question arises that why it is red in color? So they are red in color because there is a pigment which is present in them, which is called as the hemoglobin. So heme in the sense here it is iron, and globin is the protein. So it is an iron protein which is called as the hemoglobin. So hemoglobin is present in the blood and that is the reason why the blood completely looks in which color? Red color. So the question comes in the examination is, it comes in this way, why the blood is red in color? So what's the answer? The blood has a pigment which is called as the hemoglobin, and that is the reason why the blood is in which color? Red color. In the same way, the pigment molecules will determine the colors. It determines the colors. Now you can see some people are white, some people are a bit brown, some people are a bit black, some people are actually over white. So what is the reason behind this? What is the reason behind this? The reason behind this is there is another pigment in our body which is called as the melanin. The percentage of melanin present in our body determines our color. If very less amount of melanin is present, you will be over white. If a little bit less than this, you will be white in color. If there is more and more melanin is present in the body, then it will be black color. So even this is applicable to our hair also. So if there is more melanin, your hair will be white and black in color. So melanin is also a pigment which determines the color. So in the same way, melanin is a pigment, and even hemoglobin is also a pigment here, and because this is determining the color of the blood, because of this the blood is in which color now? It is in red color. You know how many RBC are there in blood? There are around 5 millions of RBC are there in our blood. There are around 5 millions of RBC in our blood, and you know their lifespan is only 120 days. That is, they only survive for 120 days. After that, they will definitely die. Now, when the child is in the mother womb, basically these RBC are formed in the liver and spleen. These are the two organs of our body, and this is a birthplace of the RBC. So you can see here the liver, and also you can see the spleen. So these are the two places where the RBC takes the birth, takes its origin. So that is when you are in the womb of a mother, liver and spleen gives birth to the RBC. And once a child is born, the bone marrow will produce the RBC. You know what a bone marrow is? Yeah, the same one, the black color thing which is in the bone. If you are non-veg eaters and all, you might break the bone and you will try to eat that bone marrow. So that bone marrow is responsible for production of RBC. So this RBC is produced after birth. I'm talking about the after birth, bone marrow will produce the RBC. So before birth, when the child is in the womb of a mother, liver and spleen will produce the RBC, and whereas the bone marrow, it will produce after birth. And 120 days is the lifespan. So once they die, again new RBC will be taking birth. So now RBC are generated in the bone marrow here, and not only that, in mammals, if you take a mature RBC cell, there is a nucleus in it. Okay, so this is about the RBC. So very little information is there, and but still you can remember this because the question may come right about RBC. Okay, even you can write this in your Fine notes. You copy this question and write as a homework in your Fine notes. So this is about the RBC. Okay, children, the second group of cells are called as the white blood cells, which are present in the blood, and they are also called as leukocytes. They are also called as leukocytes. WBC, the shortcut is WBC. WBC are also called as leukocytes. Now, there are different kinds of WBC again in our body. They are divided into two groups. One is granulocytes and second one is agranulocytes. Granulocytes in the sense, the cells which have the granules in them. Okay, there are different sizes of granules here. They might be of protein or fat. So these are the granules which are present in the cells, and if the granules are present, they are called as granulocytes. Now the word cytes, the word itself means cells. The cells which has granules are called as granulocytes. Then agranulocytes, in the sense these are the cells which doesn't have any granules in them. That is how the white blood cells are divided into two, and one is granulocytes and second one is the agranulocytes. And the first one is the granulocytes. Again, the granulocytes are also, they have three different kinds of cells. One is acidophils, second one is basophils, and third one is neutrophils. Acidophils is also called as eosinophils. So these acidophils, basophils and neutrophils, what is the work of them? So they will attack the microorganisms that enter our blood. If any foreign microorganism is entering, microorganisms, if they are entering into a blood, they will be taken care by the eosinophils, basophils and the neutrophils. So they will attack the microorganism which enter the blood. And if WBC dies, if any WBC dies, that will be removed outside. That will be removed outside in the form of pus. All the dead WBC, see, when the bacteria and the WBC, they keep on fighting, some of the WBC might die, and all this WBC comes out in the form of pus. That is what we can see in a kind of light yellow color. So, and especially among these three, neutrophils, they especially attack the bacteria which enter into the body, and that's why they are called as the first line defense against the bacteria. They are also called as first line defense against the bacteria. So these will directly attack the bacteria, and also these neutrophils are also called as the microscopic policemen. Microscopic policemen of the blood. So neutrophils plays a major role here. They attack the bacteria. Okay, they completely attack the bacteria and they act as a first line defense against the bacteria. That's why they're also called as microscopic policemen. So granulocytes, there are three different kinds of cells again here. One is eosinophils, second one is basophils, third one is neutrophils. So eosinophils, basophils and neutrophils attack the microorganisms which enter the blood. And what are the dead WBC are there? They will be, or dead WBC are there, that will be removed as pus. And especially we are talking about the neutrophils. They act as a first line defense against the bacteria. They are also called as the microscopic policemen. And now coming to the agranulocytes. There are again two different cells here. One is monocytes and second one is the lymphocytes. And these monocytes and lymphocytes are also very, very important here. And when you talk about the lymphocytes, these are the ones which will secrete the antibodies. Nowadays, in the season of Corona, we are especially talking about the antibodies, developing of the antibodies. If you're taking the antibodies in the trial runs and all, they are seeing whether antibodies are developed for this virus or not. So when a foreign organism comes inside, okay, our lymphocytes will keep on secreting the antibodies which will go and they will attack the foreign material which enter into the blood. So they'll keep on fighting with them. And then coming to the monocytes, they also attack the foreign material, and you know what they do? They engulf them. They will take them into the cell, and that is how they attack the foreign organisms and engulf them, and they will destroy them in the cell. And that's the reason why they are called as the scavengers, which cleans the blood. Okay, so what are the microorganisms enters into the blood? They will be engulfed by the monocytes and they will remove them. They will digest them in their body, so they're destroyed in its own cell. That's why they're also called as the scavengers. Okay, scavengers of the blood. So again, coming to the agranulocyte, there are two different kind of cells. One is monocytes and second one is the lymphocytes. Lymphocytes will always secrete the antibodies, and monocytes, they will directly attack the foreign material and they will engulf them, and that's why they're also called as scavengers. Okay, they are destroyed inside the cell. Okay, by this we come to the end of the white blood cells also. So hope you all understood RBC, WBC. See you tomorrow.